Is residential real estate a good hedge against inflation? In this video, we're going to talk about real estate and its hedge against inflation and why so many people talk about that. This is a great way for you to go to a dinner party and impress your friends. Seriously. I mean, everybody talks about inflation, and I'm going to be completely transparent. In the very beginning, I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. I'm like, I'm just buying real estate. But you have to understand the relationship from it. What this is going to do is kind of give you that 15,000 foot view, you know, not above the trees. We're a little higher than that in this video. Stick around to the very end. I got a little bonus that'll literally help you even more. I think you're going to love this. If you got some questions, you know the process there. Thumbs up. If you just like it, send it to a friend and say, I told you so. It's up to you. The question is residential real estate good hedge against inflation? And the answer is yes. But you have to understand the why. And this is why I said, you know, does it matter? I guess it does, because you got to understand what you're doing. I just put my head down and bought real estate because I love it. I love this. But you got to think about this for a minute. If I'm trudging along at a job and we're going to keep some what we call friendly math, if I'm making $100,000 a year, $100,000 a year, and inflation is going up, and let's say it's going up 5% a year, which is substantial, or 3% or whatever, it's still going up. I could be at that job, you know, 10 years from now and maybe making a little more than that, but I'm barely keeping up. You know, they say, you know, the cost of living and what have you, and it kind of sucks. But if I'm working at $100,000 a year and I'm retaining some of my money and I'm putting it into real estate, the real estate is actually going up in value. Now it goes up and down, it doesn't always go up. So don't Dave Ramsey me on this. I know it goes up and down, but in the long run, because that's what we're doing, it's going up. So I'm buying that real estate, the value of that's going up, my rents are going up because that's just what happens over time because my cost of goods. So if inflation is going up and it costs me more money to get products, dishwashers and washers, dry, whatever that case is, I've got to charge more for that ROI. The value of that real estate, let's say over a 10-year period of time, is going up 25, 30%. Very realistic, okay? Meanwhile, I'm still working at this job over here, but I got all this value in this real estate over here that not only is going up in value, but it's kicking in some extra income. So that when I stop working at this job, I've got a ton of equity over here on this property, and I've also got income coming from the properties. I remember when I first started doing this, I was so impressed with this guy who was retiring, and he had 37 properties in the San Diego area that he owned, and he was collecting rent on. He was like, this is like a full-time job, Sean. And I was like, his name was Art. I'm like, boo-hoo, you know, full-time job. And he's got 37 people going out, getting a job to pay for his retirement. All he's got to do is supply him a nice place to live. One of the things he taught me on that is make sure that they have a nice place to live. So make sure it is pristine, that you're not getting those phone calls and all that, and that's other videos that we'll talk about later on. But, you know, that's why residential real estate, you know, is good when it comes to hedging against inflation on that. Now, the key is to start buying real estate. So there's all sorts of different ways that you can buy real estate. You can go out there and start learning with videos like you're doing right now and trying to figure out how to buy property. The key is learning the skill set of finding a deal. Don't worry about money right now because we can talk about that in other videos. The skill set of finding a deal. If you can find a good deal, money will always be there for you. So really the order of this is skill set, deal, money. Okay, it goes in that order. Everybody thinks I have to have money before they do that, but you don't have any skill set, so you don't need a baseball glove if you can't even play baseball. Then you find a deal. Now you need the money, and it comes in that order. There's always a lot of money for a good deal. Let me give you an example. If I was looking at a piece of property, and it was, well, there was one right now I looked at. It was $1 million for this property. Fixed up, it was probably worth $1.7 million. I'm looking at this going, if I buy it for $1 million, distressed property, it was a probate property. Hadn't been lived in for a while, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is in California. Buy this property for $1 million. I'm gonna have to put $200,000 into this property to fix it up. and then we could probably sell it for $600,000 to $700,000. There you go. Okay, that's one way to do that happen. You don't have to do these high dollar properties either. I could find a distressed property in a neighborhood for maybe, in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama, some of those areas in there where I'm looking at it and going, okay, I can find a property for 100, put 50 into it, and sell it for 225. There's all sorts of different ways. Those of you that have been following me and watching my videos, one of the things I love is, buying tax deeded properties. So those are all over the country. So you've got tax deed properties, you got tax lien properties, but it's getting you in there. So if I'm buying a tax lien, forget getting the property. Let's just buy a straight tax lien certificate. I go to Arizona and I buy a tax lien certificate for $3,000. They're going to pay me 16% with a 3-year redemption period. That means that when that person doesn't pay their property taxes, I give it to Maricopa County. Maricopa County gives me a certificate, bears an interest rate of 16%. When that property owner comes down to the county to pay those taxes off, guess what? They pay me my money back plus the 16%. Okay, if inflation's at 5%, I've won. That is a good hedge against it. My underlying security is the value of the property. Is it starting to make a little sense right now? So the value of that property is, let's say, $300,000. The way tax lien certificates work, that if the person doesn't pay them within that prescribed amount of time, in this case scenario in Arizona, is 3 years. So they have 3 years to come in and pay that back taxes plus the interest rate. If they don't, I call my workhorse, which is the county, and say, hey, the property owner has failed to pay off the property taxes, and I would like to foreclose on the property. So I can foreclose on the property, notifying everybody, including the bank, hey, I've got a tax lien on this property. I've basically taken the county's power and position, and I'm foreclosing on this property. The banks know this. That if they don't do something, their position is going to be wiped out. So one of two things, they can just forget about it, which probably not going to happen, or they're going to come in and pay the back taxes plus the interest rate to protect their mortgage on the property. But make no mistake about it. If the bank or any other lien holder on that property neglects to satisfy the lien to protect themselves, you will get that property and I will own it free and clear. Okay, that's the safety of that. The other side of it is I can go to some counties out there, like for instance in, I don't know, where are we talking about? Nevada, Idaho, places like that, where I can go in there and they say, now we're not going to sell the back taxes on this. We're going to wait 3 or 4 years and then we're going to sell the property for the back taxes. So when I go to the auctions, I put my hand up and they say sold and I own the property. They've already foreclosed on the property. All of those liens and encumbrances have been eliminated. So I basically will own the properties for free and clear for what I paid at the auction. Unbelievable. Now, there's all sorts of research that you're going to need to do to make sure you understand what's going on in this, and you're in luck. Because guess what? I got a brand new course on this. All you got to do is click on the link down below. It's called HigginsMethod.com. Go there. I got a brand new course. It's free. Okay, good price. Okay, it's free, or unless you want to just pay me with a compliment, that's good enough. But just download that, watch that training material on that, and it's going to show you how you can find financial independence through this strategy I'm talking about right now. Okay, this is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck. We'll see you out there.